Hello, and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I am your girl Lana, your resident evil Traitors diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I loves me some tea. Purr. And I'm not drinking anything. Don't really have anything to drink. Don't really care. Not really that thirsty. But what I do have is my cup mug. And ooh, panel full of cup mugs. Panel full of cup mugs. Beer. Traders Edition. And you can get your cup mug or any of our beautiful cup merch at lamagscreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses. Unless your postal service is moving a little bit slow. But that's okay. It's just a delay, not a deny. So you can get it, and it'll come. But it'll get there maybe slowly, but it'll get there. Get your cup merch. Period. And finally, I have finally done it, y'all. It took me forever. It took me forever to finally seduce another trader. I mean, and I just kept getting rejected. But finally, someone has come into the dark side. So, who could it be?
It is me, David Healy. I got off the train tracks after episode 2, but the twist has brought me back into the game just in time for the finale. That's my kind of twist.
Just come in for the finale, and then we're done. It's over.
Yes. No, I've had a very busy couple of weeks. I was in London during a lot of the episodes, and then come back and I've been editing, but I'm finally here and I'm so happy to be back, and I'm drinking a little Coke.
Period. Oh, you're a Coke Zero girly?
I'm just a Coke. Yeah, it is Coke Zero. You're right. I didn't even realize it was Coke Zero. It tasted like the real thing.
Zero girly. You are a Coke Zero girly today. But we are here to talk traders and all things traders. I got hair in my mouth. I'm excited. We're here. We're back. The finale happened, and man, what a finale it was. Wild. I have to say, overall, y'all, this has probably been one of my favorite seasons of Traders. Period.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think there's another country doing it like the UK.
Yo, they eat it up.
Yeah, I think it up. And I've seen Twitter. Like I went on Twitter after this episode, and I'm like, ooh, what's everybody saying? I will say Twitter is not on the same page as me, because I just really loved the journey. I loved how it ended too. But yeah, Twitter is not super happy with how the show actually ended.
I mean, okay, here we go. I don't mind how it ended. I don't mind. I like how it ended. I'm a trader girly. The name of the show is Traders. I kind of like to see traders win. And so when the traders don't win, I'm kind of like, oh. But you got to be some really likable and good faithful. And I think these were really likable, good faithfuls to me. And I enjoyed their journey. And it was, I'm going to say a word that people don't like. Was it a little cliquish? Absolutely. I think this ending showed just how cliquish it was, because we don't trust the outsider in one of the players. And the last 3 were very much a tight little unit. And they just didn't. And it was the twist in the plot that kind of forced just a little. If that plot twist didn't happen, I think we would have had 3 faithfuls winning this game instead of 2.
I would actually say I think we would have 1 trader.
I think we would have 1 trader. If we didn't have the plot twist at all, 1 trader would have won this whole thing, and I would have been very happy about that. But I think the twist itself kind of severed the little trust pact that those 3 had, And yeah, oh well.
I will say, as soon as I saw how the episode 11 ended,
Mm-hmm.
I messaged Lana and I'm
Yep.
like, "Oh, I know exactly how this is going now."
Yep. Yep.
And I was exactly right.
Yep.
Exactly right.
And I was in 100% agreement with you because I was like, before yesterday, I was full blown. Charlotte's taking this to
Mhm.
the end. She's winning. There's nothing that is going to stop this win from happening if it goes that way. Then when we saw how it ended and the twist, I was like, oh well, nope, not confident anymore. And you were right, and I was agreeing with you.
Mhm.
I said, this is just how the journey is going to go. I knew. Okay, so we're gonna jump a little ahead. I don't know. We're gonna say so. Um, I knew Alexander had no chance.
Yep.
He had no chance. He was the outsider come from completely. I was like, he's not going to ever encroach into that trust circle that they had developed, especially between Jake and Leanne. Like they had been trusting each other and working together since day one. And Frankie, they always was like, oh, she's just a
Mhm.
full 100% faithful. The seer, I think, put that seed of doubt in in their minds, and so the crazy part about this. Well, okay, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Let's just go in
Yeah.
order.
I have so much to say.
I
I
have
have so
so
much to
much to
say.
just
This might be a
jump in.
long one, honestly,
Right.
'cause
I was just like, I have so much to just jump right into and go. But okay, y'all know what to do. Follow us on the channel. Y'all hit the subscribe button. We're trying to have 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We need your help. If this is your first time watching us, welcome. And please subscribe. Follow. We have 3 other channels you can follow. All those links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links if you need to listen to us on the go, as well as our Patreon. So if you want early access and exclusive content across all 4 channels, our Patreon is the place to be. 2025 is the year the Cup TV. I will grant is going to have more things going into the Patreon. So be ready for that. So you might want to go join the Patreon and see all the things we have in store. Getting ready to go into the Patreon for exclusive content. I don't know about our early access content, but exclusive content we will have. And follow us on all of our socials. I can talk. Follow us on all of our socials. Okay, David, let's get into it. I just want to get through that because I want to get
Mhm.
into it. So we are. Let me pull myself and David. We're gonna go. We're gonna step aside because I like to have my visuals when I'm
Mhm.
here and want to pull up my visuals here. Let me take off. I always have to remember to take off the ticker so everybody can see the names and remove the logo so Leon's head ain't
Yeah.
covered.
Justice for Leon.
It's just
I
for Leon.
So going into this, after I watched episode 11, I had such a hard time sleeping because look, this twist, you could say, is it fair? Is it not fair? Either way, it is entertaining. It is
Entertaining
entertaining.
for sure.
And I think it played out in the most entertaining possible way. So the fact that they left us on a cliffhanger,
Yeah.
I was like, I need to see this now. I need to see it now. And I kept waking up throughout the night and thinking like, "Oh, how should everybody handle it?" Like I was trying to put myself in all sorts of people's shoes. I did
Mm-hmm.
not get very good sleep last night
Oh
at
my
all.
gosh.
And then all day I kept like refreshing the source that I go to find links for the episodes. I kept refreshing it because I'm like, I need to start watching this as soon as I'm home from work. So they did their job with this cliffhanger. They did their job.
It definitely made you like, what's gonna happen? Who's doing what? How does he play this
How are they
out?
going to react?
How are they going to react? Will they believe her? Do they not believe you? Like it's just a lot going on. And with Frankie talking and Charlotte just looking at each other's eye, that's the only last thing we saw was them looking at each other. And it's like, how do you react to that? Because Frankie and Charlotte were so close friends in the house, and we know Charlotte is a traitor. How does Frankie react to that? How does Charlotte react to that? How do they react to it the next day? And it's like, how do you play this out? Like I said, all the different scenarios was running
Mhm.
through my brain. I was like,
Scenarios.
scenarios, absolutely. How does all these scenarios just run through? And I was
Mhm.
like, how does she react? How does she tell? Like, does Frankie just go in and
Yeah,
just be
I thought
like,
she was gonna tell her verbally.
right? But they had a card with her
Mhm.
name on it,
Yep.
and Frankie had to open the card and read it, and she pulls it out, and it says traitor.
Mm.
And Charlotte is and she's just like
cinematic moment of her just like she just like the emotion.
It's like everything, the shock, the frustration, the
Mm-hmm.
anger, the sadness. My best friend in this house has been lying to me this entire time. Is that why I'm still here? You're why I'm still like.
Mm. And the funny thing is, like, so I was putting myself in the shoes of the seer, and who would I pick? Would I pick somebody I think is a traitor, or would I pick somebody who I think is a faithful? I think the best way to play this is to pick somebody that you feel very sure is a faithful,
Yes.
and you want to go to the end with them. Because on almost every franchise, I mean, it didn't happen in season 1 of UK, but almost every other franchise, people go down to 2 people.
Yep.
That's just what they do. People want to take out as many possible traitors as possible, and they want to split
2 ways.
The money 2 ways if possible. So if I am the seer, I'm like, okay, who do I want to go to the final 2 with?
Absolutely.
And let me make sure it's a good decision.
Yep.
And I really do.
I think she thought that
what
too.
She's saying, I do think that's what Frankie was doing when she picked Charlotte.
Oh, absolutely. She wanted to make sure that Charlotte was that faithful, so she could be like, I'm 100% sure it's me and you to the end. We taking all the rest of them out. I don't know who the traitor is, but we know we both faithful. And she was surprised to find out that the person who she trusted the most was a traitor. So now she had to adjust her plan, because I do agree her plan was coming in knowing Charlotte was a faithful. But now it's like, nope. And here's what tripped me out. When they were in that room, and I don't know if this was just a fight or flight mode from Charlotte, but the way she just sat there and smiled at Frankie and was like, it's your word against mine, and nobody's gonna know.
It seemed menacing.
It was very, she was like, I'm gonna be the faithful that I always been. And she took that champagne flute and was just like, I was just like, you seem so evil right now. And I know that's not who she is as a person, but you couldn't convince me she wasn't a psychopath in that moment. Right. He was just like, nobody's gonna believe you.
She's honestly made to be a traitor.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this now. I do think Charlotte is definitively the best traitor to never win. I'm going to say that very confidently. I mean, I've seen, I think, 9 different franchises of it. So that's of the ones I've seen.
Of the ones that I've seen, I would probably, the one traitor that has never won. Yeah, I think she is on the top of the list. I will put Mina up there as well, because I think Mina played such a really great game. She just got
made some mistakes. Charlotte also made some mistakes.
Her own traitor. Like, Charlotte got outed by a game, and oh my God, see, I'm sorry. I just had while we're recording right now, an email message comes in from Reddit. What an S finale talking about Traitors UK.
Oh no.
And I'm like, I don't agree.
I don't agree.
Don't agree at all. I thought this was a great finale. Interesting that y'all are listening to me talking right now. I have some suspicion. But I feel like, yeah, I think both of them were really, really good traitors. This year was a good lot of traitors. I honestly, though, my thing, I think Charlotte overplayed it just a little. And I don't think she should have got rid of Freddie when she got rid of Freddie. I think she should have took Freddie to the finale and got rid of Freddie then. All they needed was one and they wouldn't have known, or Francesca would have questioned Freddie before she questioned her.
Yeah. I think if there was a way to get rid of Alexander first.
Yep. But and it was a way. They just didn't take it.
True. But it also does help that you get rid of Freddie and you do see that it's a traitor. So that might lull people into a little bit more safety than they should be in.
Not the way Freddie went out.
No.
Because Freddie was like, if I go down, I'm taking you down with me. And he did just that. He did just that.
Yeah, it's really complicated. I really do think that even with what happened with Freddie, I do think she was in a good position to win without this twist, but she really did not have any loyalty to any other traders. She's probably the most disloyal trader I've seen.
Yes. And the crazy thing is, I believe from watching the mission on the last one, if she didn't get rid of Freddie, Freddie would have got the seer. I think Freddie had more money than she did, than Francesca did.
Even
And
Alexander.
Yep. I think because Freddie was already ahead of her. Well, they had about the same. And then when they went to the end, he was just dumping money and coins in there. Francesca didn't find as many as Alexander did. And Freddie found, I think, as much as both of them did.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if Freddie was still there.
But Freddie wasn't like a pony.
He was like a pony. Claudia cracks me up. I love Claudia this season. Not that I didn't love her before, but
I think she's my favorite Traitors host, honestly.
I could see that. I would look. There is an argument for that for me. I think her and Alan just do it for me. They just do it for me. But I think Freddie would have won the seer, and that would have just instantly had her win this game. I think if she would have just left him alone, he would have had the seer, or he would have been a shield for her.
It's still complicated because Freddie knew he knew Charlotte was kind of throwing him under the bus because of the whole murder of Leanne.
Yes.
So I think he had his sights set on her, and so it might have been dangerous to keep him around any longer just because of that.
I think she had more social capital than he did.
True.
I think she would have been more convincing that it's him than not.
I don't know why didn't he just say, "Oh yeah, I knew you had the shield. Charlotte told me."
Right. And Charlotte was like, "No, I didn't." I'm like, "You knew though, so why are you lying now?" I would have completely thrown her under the bus. And I'm like, "Yeah, Charlotte told me."
Yep.
And she's like, "When did I tell you that?" "In the bar." But he's such a bad liar. He says he's a bad liar. So it's like, oh, it was Mina in the bar at the end of the night. I was like,
have you seen all the different memes?
No.
Oh, you have to check Twitter. It's like so many different things. Like, who told you? Claudia, but she's the host of the show. Oh. Or who told you? Diane, but she was on series 2. Or like even like there's so many different ones I've seen and they're hilarious.
Oh, I have to go check that out. I just stayed away from Twitter for the last couple of days, so I can finish watching the series without being spoiled. Right. So I stayed, especially today. I was like, nope. No chance of watching anything. But yeah, so all this to say, Charlotte and Francesca come into breakfast the next morning, and it's tense. It's tense.
And personally, how I was thinking about it before I saw this episode, I was thinking that if they come into breakfast and immediately Francesca or Frankie throws Charlotte under the bus and says she's a traitor, there's no way Charlotte's going to just take that lying down. She's going to have to fight back. Absolutely. She's going to have to put suspicion on Frankie. And if I'm those other people, okay, now I have 2 people that I'm doubting. I cannot go to the final 2 with anybody I'm doubting. So I knew it was going to be a lose-lose situation for both of them. So my theory that I came up with in my head while I couldn't sleep the other night was that the best scenario for both of these ladies would be to just not address it as much as they could. Don't address it. Don't create conflict with each other. Don't create doubt amongst each other. Just go to the final 3 together. And then if you can, and I know we've talked about it before the podcast and it's complicated because there's not really conversations going on then. But if you can just get to the final 3, then you just have to sway one person. Either one of them just has to sway one person. And you have a 50-50 shot of winning. So I thought that was the best situation instead of both of them taking away their chances completely. And honestly, we're about to talk about it, but I think both of them took away their chances immediately.
Yeah. It just was crazy. They both came in and they weren't trying to first. Neither one of them wanted to be the first to say anything, and it was just like, "You want some tea, Charlotte?"
Frankie's eyes, though, when she came, I
She
didn't
did.
notice it at first. She just comes in and does like this wide-eyed thing, and everybody like,
What's wrong with her? Like even Leanne was like, her face, look at her face. And so she's like, "Hello, everybody," and she gets to Jake and she's like,
traitor.
and I was like,
Jesus when he was kissed by Judas.
right, traitor. But and so she was kind of like, and Jake is like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy." Um, Everybody's trying to figure out what is happening, what happened in the meeting, who said what happened. Leanne was like, "Are we going to address this?" And so Charlotte is like, "Yeah, let me just tell you what happened. I am a faithful," and Frankie saw that.
Yep.
And Frankie was like, "You what? No, that is not what happened. I read up the card and it says she's a traitor." And Charlotte's like, "I knew you were going to do this. I knew you were going to turn this around and try to twist it on me and say I'm the traitor when we know I think you are the traitor." And it just
It
turned
was
into
smart of her to set that up as a
uh-huh.
possible situation. She's like, she might do that to Alexander. If she's a traitor, she could pull him in and then call him a traitor, even if he's not.
Right.
Um, so I thought that was smart for her to plant the seeds in case she
Mm-hmm.
was selected, and then she was
And
selected.
she was. And she selected. She's like, we were all talking about how you could possibly be the traitor or know who the traitor is and try to protect and it was just a lot, just going back and forth between them. And Jake, Leanne, and Alexander just like, I don't, my mind is blown. Like they're trying to figure it out. So Claudia comes in, lets them know that first, congratulations on being the final five. We're going to do a mission where you can earn some more money, $30,000 in the prize pot. That'd be great. We're going to do this. It's going to be fun. Let's go have a mission. So she's out. And as soon as she leaves, everybody gets up. Jake, Leanne, Alexander, and Frankie all go towards the library. And Charlotte is the only one walking out the door. And I was like, oh, that's not good at all. And
I
I don't even
know.
know if it was
I don't
intentional,
think it was.
but it just looked. I was like,
She should have just followed them.
I would right. I would have been like, ooh, okay, well, I guess we're going this way then. I would have been like, no, we are not taking me out of the sight. But she used that to her advantage. And she was just like, she uses like, I felt very much alone. When she talked to people, the tears would come. And she was like, I felt very alone in that minute because everybody left with her. And I felt like maybe everybody's against me. And I was like, no, that's not what it is. And she's like, it's just so hard because I'm a faithful. And I was like, she was able to use that emotion of feeling alone in that moment and turn it around to, I am such a faithful and I feel so bad that you're trying to make me as a traitor. It was good. It was good. If I didn't know she was a traitor, I would almost be convinced that she might be a faithful because she was good. She threw on the waterworks and it was good.
She was good. She starts also throwing Alexander under the bus in a conversation. She's like, "Do you think that maybe Frankie is a traitor and so is Alexander, and she's trying to protect him by making me the next target instead?" Which is not really traitor. Traitors don't usually protect traitors at this
No.
stage of the competition. I did have. I think there are a couple of things that Charlotte could have done in this time to help her case a little bit better, because people are asking why would Frankie lie about that, which is a great question. Like, even if she is a traitor, why would she lie about that? Why? I think there is a good reason somebody might lie. If you're a traitor or a faithful even, and you know that the precedent for the game is to go down to 2 people, and everybody is looking at who they think is most likely to be a traitor and who's least likely to be a traitor. Charlotte is definitely on that least likely side. So, if I'm a person that's thinking, "Okay, what if I get down to the final 3 and Charlotte is there, and people are inclined to think she's least likely to be the traitor, they might get rid of me,
Mm-hmm.
especially since we don't have confirmation of who's traitor or not. They might
Mm-hmm.
get rid of me, and Charlotte might be that number one person for every other person.
Mm-hmm.
So take that person off the table.
I could be that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Charlotte could have used that to spin, like, maybe Frankie's thinking on that level. It might be hard to sell because I don't think Frankie's that kind of person to think that strategic.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I think that she could have done is, since they just found out that Freddie was a traitor,
Mm-hmm.
I would remind people, do you all remember early on, week 4, I think it was, when Freddie got a few votes? Who was that vote that made him cry, that made him sob? He was so upset when Frankie voted for him.
Mm-hmm.
He
Mm-hmm.
was upset because his fellow traitor voted for him.
Oh, absolutely. People have to remember these little things in games for that. I would have, oh my God, yes, because I think that would have totally took people right off of Charlotte and put it right on Frankie.
Mhm.
Be like, she knew he was a traitor,
Yep.
and her voting for him broke his heart. Oh, David, you need to go on Traitors, my guy.
I guess so.
You need
Yeah.
to go on Traitors.
Yeah, I wish Charlotte had brought that up, because I
Yeah,
thought that was something pretty easy to mention, because that was
absolutely.
one of the big, like, honestly, one of the bigger reactions this season from
Mm-hmm.
somebody getting a vote was Freddie getting a vote from Frankie.
Yeah. And I also thought, on the flip side, I thought it was some things Francesca could have done to put it more on Charlotte in more of a decisive way. Because if I was Francesca, if she focused on the Freddie vote, which you definitely need to do, like, Freddie is a traitor. He was going after Mina. He went after Mina. Mina was going after him. Mina was a traitor. He was going after Charlotte, and he was the traitor. I just think I'd be like, Freddie is a traitor. He is not loyal to traitors. If we don't believe, if he was loyal to the traitors, why would he go after Mina so hard? Why was he on board with voting out Linda? He was on board with voting out Armani. He knew who the traitors were, even though he didn't. But I would press that issue, the Freddie issue, home so much more than what she did. And I would have been like, why come out here? And I'm telling you, she's a traitor. If Put the doubt, be like, if I'm wrong, but see, the only problem is, never mind. I can't even say that because they don't reveal. Never mind, because
Yeah.
I'm still on the reveal part of it all, but they don't reveal. I just think she could have pushed the Freddie incident a lot more, and I wanted Francesca to just fight back a little bit more, because Charlotte at one point was over talking her, going on and on and on, and she was just like, I mean, but when Charlotte said, I don't trust this woman, I'm like, of course a traitor wouldn't trust me. I would have just came back on her, just like hard, just like,
Yep.
You're the traitor. You know you're the traitor. You don't trust me because I know you. I know you. I know who you are. And of course you didn't. She just was too mousy for me. And she was just like, I need you. If you want people you want to convince people, you got to say stuff with conviction and make people believe what you're saying. And she was just like, of course, of course you don't trust me. And that was her downfall, because she did not convince either Leanne or Jake that she was like, she wasn't convincing enough. She just didn't. Not even throughout the day, not throughout anything. Like, even at the round table, she just was not convincing. And I feel like her mousiness and her demeanor in her real life, she's just not that person. She's very quiet. She's very, like, chill. And I get that. But when you gotta convince people that you're not a liar, when you know this incident, this twist is going to look bad on both of you, I have to do extra work to make sure that I'm You know I'm being honest 100%. And I'm gonna say everything I can. I would have drove Freddie home. I would have been like, you don't trust me because you know I know you're a traitor. And everything she said, but you're a traitor. I mean, you can keep saying that my story will never change. You're a traitor. And who after a while they're gonna be like, she is very staunch on this. It doesn't matter what you say, Charlotte. You're a traitor. You know it. I know it. And I'm telling them.
Yeah.
Okay, you're mad. You don't trust me. Great. You don't trust me because you're a traitor. And I know you though. And everything she say, I will throw it back at her being a traitor. And I think after a while, either they go be like, she is 100% staunch on this point, and my story will never waver or never change, or they'll just have to just be convinced that I am lying. So I don't know. It's just interesting to me. This whole thing was interesting to me.
I have some slightly different opinions, but it involves the roundtable more. Okay. So we'll get to that when we get to it.
But let's go to the mission, because the mission was the fun part of this whole thing. They got to hang off a helicopter. Ooh, no,
would you do that?
No, thank you. I could. You know what? I would probably psych myself out to do it. I would be like, okay, I can. I wouldn't want to do it, but for the money, I would do it.
Right.
Because I'm not afraid of heights. Heights is not something that I'm afraid of. I just don't like dangling. I don't. Yeah. It's the dangling of it all, and I'm like,
yeah.
Is these ropes secure enough to hold me? Because honestly, watching that helicopter hover, I felt like when they was swinging, that helicopter was dipping with the swing, and I was like, "Ooh, no, I don't like it."
See, I don't like heights personally, but I think I would do this before I would like skydive or bungee jump, because I don't like the falling aspect.
Yeah, right.
I'd rather dangle than fall.
Yeah, I would rather dangle than fall too. I don't like bungee jump. Like I would never bungee jump because I don't trust cords.
No.
I don't trust those cords. I will skydive once. I always said I would do it once because I don't know. I've never done it, but I would if I had the opportunity once. But I don't know bungee jumping. But I would do that. I would do that because number one, I want. So yeah, I would dangle before I bungee jump. So, and it's for the money. If I'm trying to get this money, I'm gonna do it. So, but yeah, they have to go in pairs. We dangle from a helicopter flying above, and then try to get these gold sacks into a circle of fire. And one person is going to be down on the ground to tell them when to drop the bags, and hopefully get it into the circle. So the first pair was Leanne and Jake, and then it was Frankie and Alexander. And they went. And Leanne, who has lied all this entire game about what she does, she's dangled from helicopters before because she's been in the army, the British Army, but she wants to act like she never done this, and she screamed the entire time. I was like,
I like Leanne. Why does Twitter?
I love her.
Twitter hates Leanne. She's the least favorite.
I think because she's so
indignant,
passionate.
She can be like, she can dish but can't take it. I'll give her that, because she'll fling out names, but if you dare say her name, she's very upset.
How dare you? Like the way she came at Alexander was like, girl, calm down. Like everybody has doubts about everybody, but she's just like, I'm so mad. I'm so like, she stay mad at you. You cannot say her name without her being forever mad at you. So, but yeah, I do like her. I liked her from the beginning. Remember from the beginning, I was like, I like this girl.
She was my first draft pick.
Yeah, right. She would have been my first if Mina wasn't there. But I liked her a lot. But yeah, she's screaming and hollering because she wants to act like she's never dangled from a helicopter before, but she has, but it's great. So Charlotte is the one on the walkie-talkie telling them when to drop the bags. Leanne hits one, and Jake hits both of his. So good on them.
Is that true? Because they get 3 total, right?
Jake hits 2.
Because Frankie gets 1.
Frankie gets 1.
I thought
Alexander misses
they
both.
only had 3 bags. Yeah, because they got a 1,000 pound bag. They got
right.
a 7,500 pound bag and a 2,500 bag.
Yeah, I think Alexander's both missed.
Yes, Alexander missed both. Frankie got 1. So Leanne got 1, and
Leanne got 1. Jake got 2. Oh, Jake got 1. Jake got 1.
Yeah, that makes sense then.
Yeah, Jake got 1. Jake got 1. But yeah, it was crazy because Jake and Leanne did really well when Charlotte told them to drop. They pretty much dropped right away. Bam, bam. Frankie and Alexander, not so much. It was like they didn't want to listen to Charlotte. They were like,
"Are you sure?
Drop.
Are you sure? Wait,
drop right now. Drop right now." Oh.
She's just yelling, and
she's like, "Drop it, drop it, drop."
Keeping the Welsh accent the whole time, I guess.
The whole time, though. The whole time. But
speaking of, can you hear the difference?
No.
I really can't, because she'll be speaking in her Welsh accent and then speak in her like London accent. I'm like, these don't hear the photo for me.
I was like, same person, same photo. I tried to listen to it. Well, I watched the Uncloaked, and I was like,
I slightly got it in Uncloaked. When
nope, did not get it at all in Uncloaked. It wasn't even a slight for me. I was like, sounds the same. I don't. But you know what? Whatever. That's not for me to try to dictate all the different accents in the UK. I mean, because they do enough of that for us here in America. So, but I didn't get the difference. I didn't. But they did, like you said, the money. They got that kind of money. They ended up with 98,000 or 96,000.
It was 96,300.
£100. Yep, 96,000. 96,300 pounds. So that was the total pot for the end of the game. Everybody's happy that they got that kind of money in the pot. Now it's back to the realness of this all. We got a lot of, I'm here for this game. I love this game. This will mean a lot to me. This will mean a lot to my family. Those type of, intros. Very cinematic going into the round table. Everybody's dressed to the nines.
Yeah. I mean, there are a few conversations that I think are important. Because we do have like conversations between Frankie and Leanne, where Frankie's making it very clear, you're the only person I trust in the game. Definitely not Charlotte, and I'm not sure about the other 2 guys. And then you have Jake talking to Leanne. Leanne, you're the only one I trust in this game. And it was at this point where I'm like, okay, well, Leanne's
winning.
Leanne's winning. Who else is winning with her?
Right, who's winning with her?
But there was another moment where we get Frankie and Charlotte alone in the kitchen together, just the 2 of them. And Frankie's like, why are you doing this? And Charlotte's like, it's the game. Like I have to play the game like it's supposed to be played. It is not personal at all. I just have to do this if I want to win. And I felt like this was a good moment between 2 of them because things were getting tense. I think they were getting uncomfortable. They're best friends. And you could tell, especially Frankie was getting so frustrated by the situation every time Charlotte would deny it. I'm like, I don't know what you expect her to do. But I really do think this helped kind of ease the tension a little bit between the 2 of them.
Yeah, I don't think when she asked her, why are you doing this? As in, why are you doing this, girl? Like, why are you lying? I think she was asking her, like, why are you doing this? Like, what is your purpose for being in this game? Like, that's how I took it. Like, what is the reason? Like, because everybody has a story. Why are you doing this? Why? What is your why in this game? And I think Charlotte took it as, it's the game. I just have to play it. I think Frankie was trying to ask, what's your why? Because it's, for her, they're so close. And her heart is into this. And she's like, I know why I'm here. I'm doing this for my family and my boys. what is your why? And I know we've heard Charlotte say what her why is at the dinner table, at the dinner party that they had where she wanted to, um, she had some trouble with starting a family and all of that things. And I just think Frankie in that moment was just like, why? I need to know why. I need to know why so I could I could justify what the process. It's just a process of finding out that somebody who you trust the most and you're very close to is not who they say they are. So Frankie was going through this process of, it has to be something else. It can't be this. It can't come down to just me against my girl. Ew. I think she just had a hard time processing all of this. And in those moments, I do agree. That was the best conversation that they needed to have for the two of them to be like, remember, this is just a game. It's just a game. It's nothing personal. I don't hate you. You don't hate me. We go be fine after this. It was just a moment of,
and they brought that up in Uncloaked.
Yes, too, they did.
About how that was really good for them.
It was because, and it was just, like you said, I just think it's just a moment of, girl, why do you have to be the traitor, girl? Why? You are my girl. Why do you have to be the traitor? Why are you doing this to me? And so, yeah, it was a good moment, and it just brought them back to reality of what we are here for. This is just a game. Nothing personal. Nothing that is happening is something that we need to be mad at each other about once this is over.
Yeah. And we did have the conversation between Frankie and Leanne. I thought was interesting. And this is where, so I kind of disagree with your assessment on Frankie, because I do think she was handling her, I think she was doing as best as she could with convincing people that Charlotte, because I really thought when she was saying, Leanne, trust me, as a mother, I know you're a mother. I would not screw you over like this as a mother. So I thought that moment where she was really passionate and honestly playing the mom card, I thought that was some really good moves.
It was good convincing, but the problem is she said it herself in the Uncloaked. She didn't focus on anybody but Leanne. And I think that was her biggest mistake. She should have got Jake on her side as well. Or Alexander. Well, Alexander really didn't have no fun.
Alexander kind of was on hers.
He just saying he didn't have a chance. But she should have gotten Jake and Leanne on her side, because you need to cover all bases. Because if one of them is, if you only got to convince one person, and if one of them are like, yep, Frankie is it, you got it covered on both angles. But she put all her eggs in Leanne's basket. And to me, I'm like, but she's closer to Jake than she is to you. Even if y'all are the mom thing, she's closer to Jake than she was to you. She needed to convince Jake, and she needed to go to Jake and be like, listen, I would have did the same thing to him, except the mom thing, because that wouldn't click with him. But I would have been very convincing to him, like, you have to trust me, Jake. You said that you trust me. Like, I was one of the least of people you faith, that you would never doubt. Trust me now. And I'm telling you, Charlotte was a traitor. She is and has been a traitor. I am a faithful. I have been a faithful since day one. She should have convinced the both. I would have just tried to edge my bets a little bit better instead of putting all of my trust in one person, because if they don't trust you, then what? It's like you don't have any other outlets. And I don't know. She needed to do a little bit more convincing to me. That she didn't do any. She did what she needed to do, but she could have did more.
I think she definitely did the job of convincing people Charlotte was most likely to be a traitor. The hard thing is just saying, like, oh, you have 1% doubt on me?
Right.
Okay. How do I get that down to 0?
Right.
That's pretty much impossible.
Because, baby, if I ever went to a Traitors game, if I have the smigglest of doubt, I got to get you out of there. Especially for the end game.
Exactly.
especially for the end game. But we get to the round table and it's on. Like, baby, it's on as soon as Claudia let them talk. And they like, Charlotte's like, I guess me and Frankie need to do the talking. She's like, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And Charlotte goes into her spiel and she's like, I am not a traitor. And these are the reasons why I think Francesca's a traitor. And she goes through her list of things and why she feels this way. And Frankie is just sitting there for a minute. And she's like,
I hope you were recruited.
I hope you were recruited, because if you were day one, that would be sick. But Frankie let her talk and let her get her points out. And then she went on. She got in and she was like giving her points of why she felt like, why she knew. She's like, I know you're a traitor. And you're sitting here saying that you think I'm a traitor, but I know you're a traitor. I was like, yes, Frankie, bring it home, bring it in. Then she kind of backed a little bit, let Charlotte get out there and start talking about how the scenarios that they ran through, sitting on the at the couch, and how she just knew this was going to happen. And if I was Frank, I'm like, how did you know that was going to happen? How would you know that this scenario is going to happen if you weren't a traitor? Because if I didn't choose you, would you still be saying that about anybody else? Like, would you say that if I chose Alexander, like, oh yeah, they do this? No, you knew this would happen because you knew you were a traitor and you knew I was going to find out about you. I just wanted Frankie to fight a little bit more, but she did well. But I just wanted her to fight a little bit more.
Yeah, I think kind of a big part of this roundtable was when Leanne spoke up, and she was like, if I came to breakfast and I knew that I was a faithful, and the seer told everybody that I was a traitor, I would lose my mind. And I 100% agreed with her. I was like, Charlotte is actually, because you were talking about Frankie being mousy. I think compared to the situation that she was in, Charlotte was just being so calm about it. Like, I'm with Leanne. Like, if somebody was just accusing, I would be like, what the F do you think you're saying?
Right.
Like, I would start saying words that I do not
that I would never say.
I would be so fuming, and I'm pretty even keeled for the most part. And I think there's something about Charlotte's face where I think it's just the mouth shape, but she looks like she's smiling a lot. She looks like she has a smirk a lot when she's talking, like she's holding in a secret. And so I just don't think she was selling it as well. And this is where, like, I do think Frankie was reserved, but she was very, like, direct and forceful with what she was saying, even if it wasn't super animated. She had conviction in her eyes. And I kept watching and like, is this because I know the truth?
Right.
Or would I be confused if I was there? But I'm like, from me watching, Frankie is selling it. Charlotte is not.
I agree. I think Charlotte should have been more reactive at the breakfast table. When Frankie said it, but like, she was waiting on Frankie to start the conversation and Frankie didn't. And so I feel like when she would have said, if she would have just been like, yep, we opened the thing and I'm a faithful. And then when Frankie turned around and said, we opened the card and you're a traitor, I'm like, are you freaking kidding me, Frankie? Like, something like, oh my God, don't you not try? Like, I would have reacted more than, I knew she was going to do this. Like, I think both of them missed some marks where they could have convinced more. But yeah, I when Leanne said that at the round table, I was like, that is so true. That is so true. Like, somebody's blatantly lying on you to your face and you know they know the truth. You like, are you kidding me right now? Like, but, and here's my what the F moment. Alexander, what the actual F? I'm going to get in so much trouble. My roommate's going to kill me for being so loud right now. But like, seriously, dude, what are you doing? Like, you already know they are this close to kicking you out as a traitor anyway. All you need to do is sit back and eat your salad and wait for it to happen. Like, you don't need to say anything. And in this moment, you just made yourself look even more traitorous and straight up lying. Talking about I never suspected Frankie.
What? That was Jake and Leanne at the same time. What?
You what?
Oh, that is
you sit at that couch. You said you suspected Frankie, and he was like, "What? What? I just okay. Maybe I did say. I'm sorry. I said that. I'm like, Alexander. Oh, you were my last hope, and you just let me down.
Wait, you
doubt me? Oh, good. Frankie's like, duly noted. Mm-hmm. I was like,
can I talk about the journey I've had with Alexander?
Oh, please. I would love to hear.
Because like when I found out somebody was coming back from the train, I was like, okay, I know who I want. I want Jack. I want Fazia. I don't want Alexander.
Of course you did.
And then he comes back, and then for like two weeks on the show, I'm like, who is this guy? Like, they're not showing him. He's bringing nothing. Send him home. Just get rid of him, murder him, banish him. But this week, like the group of episodes this week, I was like, he is such a lovable goofball. Like, how did he just in the final 3 episodes just become so endearing to me? Like, I love this guy. I want to see him back on my TV. And I did not expect that because I thought he was such a casting dud at first. But I don't like him running around and him running around or him like singing the song backwards and like yeah, I don't know. He grew on me a lot. So I was like, I'm kind of rooting for him, even though
I know
doing things the wrong way.
So the wrong way.
And he just takes it on the chin too. Like he never gets mad. If anybody calls him out, he's like, he's just so like such a lovable goof. I don't know. Did you go on the same journey?
I did. It wasn't as like I wanted him to come back because number one, I picked him to come back. Right. But I wanted him to come back because I felt like I wanted him and Fazia to come back because I felt like they were the ones who kind of was just like Fazia because she got off first and was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do this. Him because he really wasn't trying to get off, but he made one little slip up suggestion like, I mean, I would. And they were like, yep, you go. It's like, okay. I mean, out of all 3 of them, any of them could have came back for me and I would have been fine with them coming back because I thought all 3 of them did really risk their game for no reason at all. But yeah, he just kind of was. I found him to be weirdly like he wasn't a traitor, but he just always seemed traitors. Like everything he did was kind of traitors. When he came out that coffin and he was just like, yeah, well, hypothetically, I would say. And I'm like, why are you talking like that? Like, you're not a traitor. Why are you making yourself look more and more like a traitor every week? The death match when he came back, like, I mean, I won. And it was just his demeanor. And I don't think there's anything like negative about him. I just think he's just that type of person. Stuff don't faze him. He not gonna get rattled. He not gonna get shaken up. Like he's not Anna, who's like, oh my God, everything, they're coming for me. Like he's just like, okay, sure. I mean, I understand why you feel that way, but here's why I don't think. But okay, but this is why I feel that way. No. He just got so wrapped up in this last one. I don't know what he was thinking. I think he was so nervous, and I think he just knew the writing was on the wall for him. Like, these people are going to vote for me as soon as they can. I don't know. When he said what he said, I was like, you did not help yourself at all in that moment. Even if it's not this right now, you're next. And it was wild. It was. Now, did you think that it was going to go the way it went the first at the brown table?
Yeah, I did. I just thought you can't deny the fact that there is reasonable doubt for Charlotte. She's
Mm-hmm.
the person with the most reasonable doubt, since you do have a person saying, "Oh, I know for a fact," because
Mm-hmm.
nobody else can say, "I know for a fact" about anybody. Like
Right.
the entire season, the entire series from
Right.
different countries, like this is the only time ever that
Yep.
somebody can say, "I know for a fact somebody is a traitor." So you just can't deny that. There's no realm, there's no world where you don't banish Charlotte. You have to do that. If there's any reason to, you have to do it.
And she
Um,
was.
what did you think about her comment saying, "Do not trust this woman"?
It was. I get why she was fighting and she was trying to fight so hard to stay. I was just like, oh, I think you took it a step too far. I think she took it a step too far because if Francesca is your friend,
Right.
and you know you're not going to win, at least you want your friend to win, or at least you should want your friend to
Yeah.
win.
It
And
almost felt like she was saying, "Don't let her win either."
right, it was like I felt like it was like she was taking her down with her. It was
Yeah.
just like, and it was a way that it could have been avoided if she never said that, because that was the thing that I felt kind of swayed people in looking more into Frankie, even though she had doubt because of this
Right.
whole seer thing. I think if Charlotte never said that, it might not have been as intense. It would have been like, okay, but I wouldn't have said it, because if I'm on my way out the door and I lost, it is what it is. My best friend in this house, I want them to have a chance to win it. And I know this twist is going to make it very difficult for her to have a chance to win it. I'm not going to keep adding on to the difficulty level if I'm on my way out. But I think Charlotte was just fighting. And I don't even think she was
Yep.
thinking about that. She wasn't even thinking about, I'm on my way out, I'm just going to fight to the end. She was fighting to the end. But I think that was just a step too far.
Yeah, I do too.
It was unfortunate. But Charlotte is gone. And they never,
Unanimously.
unanimously, and they can never tell her if they could. She couldn't tell him if she was a traitor or faithful. She just walked straight on out. And then they all have to go down to the fire pit outside, the fire pit of truth or whatever they call it. I don't even know what they call it. But they go down there, and each one will have their little interview with Claudia. And I thought those moments were cute. I'm like, oh, that's very cute moments of trying to figure out what would you do? How did you enjoy this journey? Do you have a plan? And Jake that was the only one. Jake got that, and he was like, yep, I know exactly what I'm gonna do when I get down there. And he had a plan. And so everybody took their little bags out the box and they tossed it in the first round. No surprise, everybody was like, yes, we vanish. Because it's four of us. We're not, first of all, nobody want to split the money 4 ways.
No.
Second of all, 4 people, one of y'all are likely to be a traitor. Right? No. That's what they think. Even though we're sitting at home like, nope, all y'all faithfuls. Faithfuls won the game, but
yeah, I think so. It would have been, if they split it 4 ways, I think it would have been about 24,000 pounds, which is maybe like a little more than 30,000 US dollars, which is not
bad. Look, I'll take it.
Or it could be better. It could be twice as much.
Better. It could be more. Look, I'll take $30,000 right now and be happy with it. But yeah, nobody wants to split it 4 ways. So they all choose to banish. And to absolutely nobody's surprise, Alexander is getting banished. Bye.
Yep. No, I was actually surprised he voted to banish. Like, if anybody was not going to do it, I thought it would be him, because...
Well, I mean, he didn't trust Leanne either.
True, but, like, doesn't he know that he's in the worst position?
He does. I think he does, but I think he's like, somebody's going to banish, so I might as well be a part of the party, too. Right. And I don't trust Leanne, so... And he vanishes.
She rolls her eyes.
She's like, of course, because nobody dares write her name down. How
I know, it's
you?
like, Leanne's vote, Alexander. Alexander's vote, Leanne.
Surprise. Like, Girl, who else you think he was going to vote for? He only been coming for you this whole time. Like you've been going for him. Relax.
Right.
But
I love it.
then
I love it from her though. Like she can be a hypocrite. I don't care.
I can understand why some people might be turned off from that. And I can understand why people aren't. I didn't find it that bad. I was like, she playing the game. I get it.
Mhm.
And being a faithful the whole time. She's like, she felt indignant. Like, baby, I know I'm a faithful. And
Mhm.
you can't tell me otherwise. And you calling me a traitor is just ridiculous. But so Alexander's gone. Everybody goes back into their pouches and they toss him in and everybody says banish again.
Yep.
And I was like, okay. Now, how is this going to play out? We knew where Jake was going.
Yeah,
And we
and
knew
they
where
do
Frankie
talk.
was going.
They do talk.
Yeah,
So
they
I
do.
just remembered they do because they
They
had a
talk.
conversation here.
And I really think it was only because Leanne, because Claudia said no conversation. But when she said, Leanne, why do you want to banish again? Leanne just went right in and was like, I just don't know, who to trust it. And I know, Frankie, you said you're a
Charlotte.
mom.
Oh yeah.
And Charlotte, and you swore to me on a mom. And she was like, yes. And so Frankie just responded to Leanne, which included Jake to respond.
Right.
And he was like,
But the first thing that Charlotte said was, "I can't forget," or the first
yeah,
thing Leanne
yeah,
said was Charlotte saying, "Don't trust that woman."
don't trust that woman. And that's why I was like, see, Charlotte, too far. But and Frankie was like, but you can trust me, Leanne. I would never do that. And I think it's so hard to know that you are faithful and you know that, but you can but then people are doubting you and you're like, no, for real, trust me. We've been trusting each other this whole game. Continue to trust me now. Trust me, please trust me. And that person's like, I don't know.
Yeah. The thing is, so if I was in Leanne's position,
Mm-hmm.
I would be hearing Frankie say, "Yeah, as a mother, like I know how important your kids are.
Mm-hmm.
Like my kids are important too." And I would be like, "Okay, but if you're a traitor, your kids are still important and you want to get that money for your kids. So yeah, I could see you pulling out all the stops to convince me that you're a faithful so you can be a good mother and bring that money home to your kids." So
Mm-hmm.
for me, if I was Leanne, I'd be like, that's enough doubt. That's enough doubt combined with everything that went on with Charlotte. And I would have banished Frankie too if I was in her position.
Mm-hmm. I would have too. I would have too, because it's like, you don't know. Charlotte was a traitor. You don't know she, and at that point they didn't know Charlotte was a traitor. And it, it's just too many doubts in the air for you to just be convincingly 100% sure, like, I can take you to the end with me, because if you snatch all that money away from me, I will be extremely upset.
Mhm.
And you use your kids on that too. And that, I think Frankie was like, I'm not using my kids, I'm just saying what the truth is for me. But it was hard to do it. So they do vote, and Frankie votes for Jake. Jake votes for Frankie, and Leanne votes for Frankie, and Frankie is banished. It
And
is
and she
what
says
it is.
she says, I hope you get this."
I hope you get this,
Which I thought
because
that was sweet. That showed she's a good sport.
yeah, and, and that also, I think what she said, that also put a little doubt in her Leanne's mind about Jake. At this point, she was like, "Oh no, is he playing us too? I don't know."
Yeah.
And then when they started going down the list, because Claudia does reveal that Charlotte was indeed a traitor, and they're like, "Oh," and Alexander was a faithful, and Leanne is like, "Oh my gosh," and she looks over at Jake, and he's not looking at her, and she's like, "Why are you not looking me in the eye? Why are you not looking me in the eye?" And Jake is like, I'm looking at
Yep.
you." And so, and then it said Frankie was a faithful, and now Leanne is like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" Like, you saw the panic. She was like, if it was one more traitor, and if it was you, oh my God, 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 oh my God. She's freaking out. And so Leanne reveals, I am a faithful. And Jake is looking down. He ain't looking at her. I'm like, oh, he playing with you. He
He
is
sure
playing with
was.
you. He was, because he looking down. He looking over here. He looking over there. And she's like, why are you not looking me in the eye? Like, oh my God. Oh my God. Don't you do this to me. Don't you do this to me. And he said, Jake, I am, and I've always been a faithful. It's just like, it's just a moment of just pure, just, oh.
Yeah, I thought it was
We did
cute.
it.
I
I
like
thought it
seeing
was
them
cute.
celebrate. I like both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I was happy with
I
the
did like both of them.
situation. But I know Twitter is not thrilled that these are the two winners. And we did see in Uncloaked that Jake definitely did that on purpose. Was
Mm-hmm.
trying to scare her. He said he probably wouldn't have done that if it was anybody else, but he's like, yeah, I'll mess with Leanne. I'll scare
I
her.
mean, she's just such an easy target because she's
Mhm.
so, like, you saw the paranoia just reigning, like, just, she was so paranoid throughout this whole entire thing and second guessing a lot of her reads. She had good reads because, like, she had said earlier in the show and the day, well, the other show, that maybe Freddie was trying to tell her something about Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, no, I don't think so. Well, maybe she was. Nah, I was just like, stop doing that. You
Mm-hmm.
got it, girl. Just trust your instinct. But it was interesting. I didn't mind the way it ended. I didn't mind the winners.
I especially didn't mind.
Of course, and here's why, everyone. Team David just decided to come back and kick us all in the butt at the last minute.
Mm-hmm. It's funny.
I was.
It's funny because my first draft pick was Leanne.
Mm-hmm.
But then so what we did was there were 21 people active in the game, and then we also drafted the 3 people that left for the train. But of the 21 people, uh, Jake was the very last person left over. So I got Jake by default, and Leanne was my first pick. So
And here we go.
yeah.
It was,
Well,
you kind of ate it up,
yeah, that first episode, like, Jake was calling out, Linda, so I'm
Linda.
like, "Well, he's not long for the game." But,
It was not, look, I didn't think he was gonna last that long, but
well,
congratulations to you, David. You won. Team
mhm.
David kind of ate it up at the end. I thought I was on a good track for a while. I
I
was
thought
like,
you yeah, I thought for sure you were winning.
I'm gonna win this whole thing. I'm gonna win this whole thing. Oh nope. Then yesterday happened. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not
Yep,
gonna win
that
the whole thing.
twist blew up your draft.
Blew up my spot. Blew up my
Yep.
spot, baby. But it's
We did get with, Claudia, she had Leanne reveal her secret. Because Claudia's like, "So are you going back to the nail salon?" And Leanne
it's like,
revealed.
I've never touched a set of nails in my life.
Yep,
I was in the army, in the British Army. And I was like, Jake was like, what?
yep.
You're stronger than all of us.
But I think my favorite part of the episode was when they're all there. You see the 3 of them walking back to the, castle, and, like, you see them in the distance, and then you hear Claudia say, "I can't wait for you all to find out where Charlotte's from."
That's so good. Claudia is so funny to me. So funny. Endearing. Like, I love
I'm
her.
starting a campaign for her to win the Cup Award for Best Host next year.
I will jump on board with that. Look, Alan won this year. I think I will definitely be on board for Claudia to win Cup Awards next year.
I voted for her this past time.
I didn't because
That's okay.
Alan was in my head. But Claudia is definitely, she ate this up. She ate this series up this year, and I love. It was fun. This has been such an amazing series on UK Traitors. I enjoyed it so much. It got to the point where I was waiting for David to send the link so I could watch it, and I would watch it right away. It's like, as soon as you said the links are in, I was like, all right, it was must see TV for me. And I am so happy because I don't watch it. I don't have a lot of shows that I watch strictly just for enjoyment is all usually for this podcast. This one felt more like enjoyment and for the podcast, not just for the podcast. So this was so fun for me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking about it. I enjoyed talking about it by myself. I enjoyed talking about it with people. I didn't care. I just want to talk about it. And I am so glad I got to do this because this was such a great season. Enjoyed it thoroughly.
I did too, for sure. I still think I like series 2 a little bit better. But I think it'd be like 2, 3, and then 1. But I really liked all 3. It is my favorite franchise of the Traitors. And I think it's kind of unfortunate that it's airing the same time as the US version, because for me, this is the second year in a row where I'm like, why am I watching the US version and I'm just feeling frustrated every week? And then I'm looking forward to the UK one. I don't know how you feel.
I mean, I feel like I separate the two shows because it's two different things going on here. On Traitors UK, it's just regular everyday people who need this money, who's trying to do this thing, they're playing for a whole new different reason than the US version. The US version is full of celebrities playing. And so I take that as like a celebrity version and then a regular version. That's like Big Brother, the regular version, and then Big Brother, the celebrity. Two different shows, two different, feelings, two different feelings about the show. So I separate the two. So because if I was going to do that, I would be frustrated. If I just was like the US version versus this, no, you can't do it.
Yeah, I think the problem for me with the US version is like there's people on there that I am 10, 15, 20 years invested in their story.
Yep.
And when it's not going how I want it to go for them, it drives me wild. When I go on Twitter and I'm seeing people say, "Oh, this person sucks. So they never should have won. Who cares if they didn't win in season 3? They definitely are proving they didn't deserve to win Big Brother 3."
No.
And I'm like, screw you.
That's me too. It's very hard. I even said it on the recap show that we did today. That will be out in the morning. So check it out, the recap show. I was like, I hate knowing that I'm watching a show with the people who I love the most. Like, okay, I'm gonna say it. Danielle Reyes, absolutely my favorite Big Brother player of all time. Period. There's nobody better than her than me. For me,
Danielle and Dan are my top 2 Big Brother
players. Like never. But I also had to realize Traitors and Big Brother are two different shows. They are two different beasts. And it is, even when my favorite of all time of Big Brother is flopping, and I'm sorry, Danielle, I love you, but she is flopping. And I will accept that. It's not going to take away the fact that she is still the best Big Brother player to never win this game. I will never take away that fact. And just like it never takes away the fact that Dan is a great player and he's a great Big Brother player, and the way he flopped in Traitors is not going to take away from how great of a Big Brother player he is. It's just, sometimes. Because even right now, to me, Boston Rob is fledgling in this game. He is not playing up to the hype, if we were going to give people hype of these shows. So it's just goes to show Traitors is a different beast, is a different animal, and even your faves can flop. And when I watch UK, I come in with fresh eyes. I don't know these people from a can of paint, but I grow to love them and grow invested in them. And even if they flop, I enjoy their moments and their time on the show. So it's like Armani was not the best traitor, but I enjoyed her time on the show. Linda was funny, and she wasn't the best, but I enjoyed her time on the show. And it's people like a Dan and a Joe and a Livy and Anna. Like, I enjoyed their time on the show, even when they weren't like doing the best. It's just, this gives me a whole different outlook. So I can separate the two. Like, celebrity is the celebrity version of Traitors, and then we have the regular version of Traitors. Now, if they ever decide to do a US version of Traitors with just regular people,
do both. Do 2
they
a year.
Need to do that, because it will be a totally different dynamic if you had just regular people in playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? I enjoyed this series so
Mm-hmm.
much. I can't wait for next season already. I'm looking forward to it
And
already.
it's renewed for at least 2 more seasons, which
Period.
have you like the numbers this series brings in to the UK? It's like 9 million people watching. I'm like, that's more than like Survivor gets in the US.
Absolutely. That's wild. But I understand it because they are doing it really, really well, and it's good. And I think it's because they feel more like people feel like, oh, I can do the show. I can get on the show. We know we can't get on Traitors US because we ain't been on the first reality show to get on there. But I love this. Y'all, this is so fun. You have something else you need to say?
Yeah. Well, I was wondering if you had any highlights from Uncloaked.
I mean, I only watched half because I really wanted to get into this recording. But I did see I got all the way up until Leanne and Jake were coming out.
Okay.
So my highlight though, Alexander's reaction to Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's reaction to Charlotte.
For me, the funniest, I think, was when it showed Anna and Alex. And Anna was like, oh, I bet it felt so good for her to go back and like go back to the lodging every night and just be like, hello. And Alex was like, hello, governor. And I'm like, oh, they're doing the same like stereotype that Americans
that we do. Like,
hello.
Hello, governor. That's how we think every British person says, hello. Like, that's how we think. So I love that I do appreciate that. But yeah, I thought that was so funny. The reactions to Anna was so funny to me. I was like,
They also,
not Anna.
Charlotte. They also showed everybody's reaction to Leanne, and everybody was just as shocked about Leanne. But then Leanne was telling a story, and I thought this was really funny. She was like, oh, I just was surprised by how many people would come up and like talk about my nail salon job. Like, I did not expect that. She said at one point, Lisa broke a nail, and Lisa came up to me and was like, hey, can you do something about my nail? And Liam was like, oh yeah, I'll bring my supplies tomorrow. And the next day, Lisa asked her again, and she's like, I didn't expect her to remember. Like, I was hoping she would get to ask.
I'm like, oh, now I forgot. I will get it. Remind me tomorrow night before we go to bed.
Tomorrow, yes.
And it will always be tomorrow for me. That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I thought Uncloaked was good. I wish they did talk to more of the people that were eliminated previously, because it's like, why don't you fly them all out? Well, I guess maybe they didn't fly. I don't know. Probably didn't fly. But why'd you bring them all out there if they're not even really going to talk? I think maybe Linda got like a couple of words, and that's about it.
Wild. But that's it. It's over, and I'm sad about it.
My second UK draft win in a row, because I got Harry and I got Leanne and Jake. This is the one draft I can do, is the Traitors UK.
Put a rose on your nose, David. I was so convinced I had it, but
I was too
sometimes. But it is what it is. But that's that, y'all. We're gonna go. Let me put the banner back up. Thank you all for joining us on this journey. Yeah, this is probably the longest one we've done, and it's because we had another traitor in the midst. But it's fine because it's a finale and it's supposed to go a little bit longer. But I thank you all so much for following us on this journey. Thank you all for the comments. I appreciate you. I thank you for watching. It's been a joy. It's been a pleasure watching this season. I cannot wait for next season. If you are down for what we are doing here, please hit the subscribe button. It takes not even a second to do it. Hit that subscribe button. Make your comments. Let us know if you liked the finale, if you didn't like the finale, did you enjoy the winners? If you didn't enjoy the winners, let us know in the comments below. We love reading them. Follow us on this channel and all of our other channels. All those links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links. So if you need to check us out on the go, which y'all are doing, so I appreciate y'all. Y'all are doing the doggone thing on our audio podcast link. So thank you all so much. Follow us on all of our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and everywhere else that the people are going to go, we are going to go to, because we just follow everybody. We want y'all to know us, and we want to know you. So follow us on all those things. Join our Patreon. Get your merch at LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. Link will be in the description below. And we're going to get out of here. So cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Bye.